Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Weekly Nintendo News, where after the service we will be holding a funeral service for Abby K, Jay Leno, CCC, Expat, Cabbage, Big Dig. Watching Twitch plays Pokemon religiously was a mistake. In Smash Bros. News, Diddy Kong was announced as a returning fighter for the upcoming new Smash Bros. Games, and I'm pretty excited for it. He was one of my favorite characters from Brawl, I loved his banana throwing nonsense, he was fairly competitive, and I'm happy to see him back. It's also just in time for Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, and I've only had a few days with it, but it has been awesome. If you liked the old Donkey Kong Country Returns, this is pretty much that, but just a little bit better. I guess that pretty much determines what your purchase decision is, but if you like platformers, it is one of the best out there, and I'm having a blast with them. That being said, although I do love Retro's effort in these games, you all know what Retro really needs to make. Come on, it's the Wii U and the scanners and the... Just do it. Find the time to do it. In literature news, which is awesome, it's not often I get to talk about anything literature related to Nintendo, but an upcoming book by the title of Console Wars, which documents the 1990s battle between Sega and Nintendo, is going to be released this May. Now, in itself, this seems pretty awesome. It's a 600-page book which talks about one of the greatest console battles of all time, and it's also the one that I personally grew up with. I had Sega consoles, I had Nintendo consoles, and it was honestly one of the most interesting periods of gaming, period. Now, normally this book would be news enough. I mean, it's not often you get 600 pages written seriously about the history of video games, but it's also especially interesting because there's a foreword written by both Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg, who apparently are planning to write a script out of this, direct it, maybe turn it into a film, and that sounds awesome. These whole, upstart technology or business-based movies are all becoming pretty popular right now. You've got things like The Accidental Billionaires, which became the Social Network movie, Moneyball, which became, Moneyball. Even The Wolf of Wall Street is loosely related to a real person's life, so people like these business-type movies, but I would absolutely love to see one made by the history of Nintendo versus Sega. It would be awesome. Hopefully. In modding news, modder Joey4Track has created the ultimate Spelunky mod, skinning the game entirely to Metroid and transforming most of the enemies into actual recognizable Metroid ones. Now, as many of you guys know from my Witz gaming channel, which I am really lazy about, but if there was one game I ever did actually play on Witz Gaming all the way through to a dedicated amount, it was Spelunky. It is one of my favorite video games, period, over the course of my entire life, and to see it combined with something Nintendo related, naturally, this is my one shot where I can actually talk about Spelunky on this channel. The mod right now is displayed in a half-hour presentation by YouTube user Bear Taffy, who's one of the largest authorities on Spelunky videos, period. Unfortunately, the mod has not hit the public yet. That being said, it looks incredible. He said on the video he will post in the description when the thing is live, so if you play Spelunky like I do, and you love Metroid like I do, then you'll understand why I'm so excited about this. And speaking of incredibly awesome fans doing incredibly awesome things with games, YouTube user NotEntirelySure has done the Mario Impossible. Completed the game with the lowest possible score of just 500. Now, I really can't say much about the video that won't speak for itself when you watch it, so please, check this thing out in the description. It is incredible. There are a handful of extremely complicated maneuvers that only the best of the best players can do. For example, in World 8-1, you have to perform a wall jump, which, while it's a common Mario jumping staple now, you have to perform a ridiculous input to make this thing happen on the original Mario, where the move technically didn't exist. He does die once attempting this jump, but right afterwards gets it perfectly, jumps for joy, and completes the entire run. Lowest possible score, non-tool assisted. It is honestly one of the most impressive things you will ever see when someone plays the original Mario game, and I highly encourage you check it out. History was made. That's it for this week's Nintendo news, but as always, if you want to get more Nintendo news each Sunday and learn when it comes out, you can click right here to subscribe to my channel and get alerts when each new video is released. Also, if you want to see some fun stuff I've been doing with some other channels, you can click here to check out some casual Pokemon-themed Smash Bros. Battles that I've done with the Smosh Games crew. I'm pretty mediocre at Smash Bros, but maybe you'll have some fun either rooting for me or laughing at me. Either way, hope you guys have a great week, and I'll see you guys next Sunday.